All right, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris, and today we have some Flyers news. We have some NHL news. All of the 2020-21 schedules have been released, including the Flyers and their 56 games that they will play this year. And again, this is a awesome day. We finally know when the Flyers will be playing. We just don't know the time. So that is one thing. All of these, it is the date and the team, but there is no time. If it's on national TV, if it's on the the home broadcast or the radio, whatever, it's just the date and the team. So pretty much the Flyers will open up the season January 13th at home versus the Pittsburgh Penguins at Wells Fargo Center. And this year, this right here, this is from NHL.com. This is from the Flyers. The Flyers will play 8 sets of back-to-back games over the course of the season, all of which will take place in the same city with no travel in between. 5 of these 8 situations will see both games played in Philadelphia. There are 2 road back-to-backs in March, so the 17th and 18th, the Flyers will play the Rangers and Islanders, and then they'll play a pair of games on the 29th and 30th against the Buffalo Sabres. The season then ends with a back-to-back set in Washington. So the schedule's fairly consistent month to month, with 10 games over the final 18 games of January, 12 in February, 15 in March, 14 in April, and 5 in the 8 days of May. So at no point in the campaign the Flyers will have more than 2 days off in between games. Their lightest stretch will come during the 3rd week of February, when they just play once from the 19th to the 23rd. So due to the current local and state restrictions, the Flyers anticipate beginning the season with no fans inside Wells Fargo Center. As the season progresses, the Flyers and Wells Fargo Center will continue to work closely with government and health officials to execute a plan that will safely allow patrons to return when it is appropriate to do so. And then, as I said before, television and radio broadcast schedules will be released at a later date. So overall, looks like a pretty good schedule for the Flyers. You pull it up here, you start the 13th and 15th, 2 games versus Pittsburgh, 18th and 19th, that's the first back-to-back of the season versus Buffalo, 21st and 23rd versus Boston, the 26th and 28th versus New Jersey, the 30th and the 31st versus the Islanders. So that is the month of January. I will put a list to the link here from the Liberty Yell, which is actually a really good Flyers podcast. I do recommend you guys go check that out if you do not. Chris and Danny, if you're watching this, what's up? But again, I'll put a link to this tweet that they posted here of the full schedule for the Flyers, because again, I'm not going to sit here and just go off of every game, because I'm not just gonna because at that point it's kind of just ridiculous. But again, I feel like it's a really good schedule for the Flyers. As I said, it's only 8 back-to-back games, so overall, that's a lot better, because in recent years they've had a lot of back-to-back games, and it's kind of tough, obviously, with all the travel and such. I mean, last year we all remember what happened. They start the season in Prague, they go home, they go out to Vancouver and Calgary and Edmonton. The amount of miles they traveled in that first month was just insane. But this year, the Flyers, this is a tweet here from Sam Carchidi. This is per the Flyers and also per Chuck Fletcher. They'll fly to Pittsburgh, Buffalo, and Boston, and they'll bus to the other cities. So it makes sense. Obviously, Buffalo and Boston do make sense. But Pittsburgh, you might be asking yourself why, because it's a 5-hour drive, and obviously it's in the same state, but it makes sense because it's compared to a 5-hour drive to probably a 1-hour, private jet plane ride, which is what the Flyers would do. So that makes sense for them to fly to those cities, and it would be a lot quicker for them. But overall, I think it's a pretty good schedule for the Flyers. It's a very tough division, I will say that. There is no, as I talked about before, really no room for error. It's going to be a good season. We're going to have to wait and see what happens, with the rosters and things like that. Overall, I think it's going to be a really good year. I do. I'm very excited for the Flyers season, if you can tell. Just a couple notes here from Fletcher, too. If Patrick is cleared to join camp, Fletcher hints he would probably be ready to play when the season starts. That does make sense. Overall, I think it's pretty good. Fletcher did not expect to make any trades or signings before the season starts. Patrick looked great at today's skate. Lindblom had a tremendous offseason and regained muscle mass he had lost, per Fletcher. And again, I think it makes a lot of sense. The Flyers do plan on having 23 players on the roster and 5 skaters and a goalie on the taxi squad. So again, it makes a lot of sense here with these quotes too from Fletcher, and just some notes too, as the main beats were able to talk to the Flyers GM today. But overall, let me know what you guys think below on this schedule. What are your thoughts on the opening night and things like that? I know you're excited for Flyers hockey. I'm very excited for it. Cannot wait to be covering all 56 of these games here with all of you, from YouTube to the podcast and everything else. So please, guys, remember, again, subscribe, like, comment, everything. It really does help me out. And same thing with the podcast. Remember, the podcast does have the merchandise store with the masks, the hoodies, t-shirts, all that stuff. There's stickers and everything. You can go check that out. Links in my Instagram. It's also on my YouTube. Remember, guys, podcast articles, those links are on my channel. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll see you guys in the next one, and goodbye.